Hey, what's up guys? Today I got a deal in Glendale, Arizona. I've been lucky enough to build a team the last couple months. So I have a number of new teammates helping do what I've been doing, which is taking expired and canceled listings that don't sell on market and converting them into seller finance deals. A lot of times we just need to present the solution to the seller that they didn't even know was out there, and it solves a lot of problems. I'm not gonna sit here and say it's for every single seller, but there's a lot of situations. The main reason that people are selling this way is because you get a higher selling price and you also get way less selling costs. Typically, net sellers on a $500,000 to $700,000 price point, another $80,000, $90,000 of equity if they're willing to put the deal as a creative deal. If you look at the numbers, that's a hell of a return. So in this seller's situation, she actually has been renting it out just to cover the mortgage to traveling nurses, having roommates, and she just doesn't want to have any roommates. For the buyer, the good news on it is that it's already set up for a room by room living situation, and even is a traditional rental. This is what I always look for first. This one at least makes a couple $100 a month. So we're gonna go through those numbers. I also noticed when I was walking it that there was a back room that had an exterior entrance. I always look for that as an investor myself, because let's face it, you want to buy and hold real estate. That's how you get wealthy in this game, is holding properties until the market raises all boats, and hopefully you can cash flow, if not at least break even along the way. There's a lot of tax benefits, but hold as many properties as you can until the market goes up and doubles over the next 5 or 10 years, whenever that is. I just saw a stat the other day that if we continued on the path with inflation that we're on today, in 40 years, the price of the average home in America, which is I believe in the 400s now, will be $1.8 million. So if you're me, I want 100 houses that all go up from 400 to 1.8 million. And you pass that wealth on to your family, to your kids, put it in a trust. But that is a true and proven path, probably the number one thing that's gotten people out of the rat race to true wealth in the United States. So that's why I look for properties like this, where you can pay for the mortgage, it pays for itself, and hopefully cash flow. This one will break even right away, but it's got big time potential with no HOA, set up to be a room by room rental, and the bonus room in the back with the exterior entrance. That's what I love about this deal. Now, I'm not just gonna sugarcoat it and make it look great. The thing that I don't love about this deal is the high down payment. Typically on most seller finance transactions, we see a 10% down payment is kind of the industry norm. I notice in Phoenix, sometimes they go up a little bit above that because it's a highly desirable market. We're still appreciating, or most people believe, and we have low inventory and low demand right now. But at some point when interest rates go down, that demand is gonna go way up in top of low inventory, and there's gonna be another price surge. So that's why people are paying more than 10% down payment. I wanna get into the numbers with this. If you have any questions about this or other deals, or you're an agent that's looking to convert from normal traditional listings and you want to explode your business into having creative on your side as well, so in any market you're going to thrive, reach out. I'd love to talk to you. I'm building a team. I have 8 team members today and looking to scale that across the country, teaching exactly what I'm doing. But let's talk about that another day. Today, let's talk about this deal in Glendale, Arizona. This property is on Friar Drive in Glendale, Arizona. It's a 4-bedroom, 2-bath, 2,077 square feet. And the square feet is including the bonus room in the back, but it's not included as a bedroom. That's really your big money maker to me when looking at the layout of the house, is converting that to what we call in Arizona a casita, an attached casita with an exterior entrance where you can rent in a studio. I've got a number of those. Typically as a short-term rental or even midterm, you're gonna do around $1,200 to $1,700 in most areas of Phoenix on something like that. Now, as far as the build itself, it's a 1970, fully renovated in 2022. The seller put about 75,000 of upgrades. I walked it firsthand and saw these upgrades. It's an absolutely beautiful place. The neighborhood I consider Old Glendale. It's actually on the border of Phoenix. If you go a couple blocks east, you'd be in the northwest side of Phoenix, and it's on the far east side of Glendale. Amenities, no HOA, something investors always look for. It just gives you more ways to rent out your property when you're not restricted by an HOA. So to me, that is an amenity, especially for an investor. You got a couple separate entrances. I talked about that. And then it's been set up. The seller is a nurse herself, and she set it up to have roommates to where everybody has their own private bedroom that's wired and fire safety and all that stuff and wireless. It's got smart appliances. So it really is set up for a co-living type situation. Now, the purchase price on this property was actually listed at $470. So the way this worked out, most sellers I talked to and a lot of deals I've done, if it's listed at $470 and we decide to take it over to give seller finance a try, or creative finance, whatever you want to call it, it usually goes up in price. So what I tell a lot of sellers in deals I've seen, there's a premium on selling this way. So you get actually 10% more price. So in this case, it would actually go from $470 to add another about $50K on that, and buyers will still buy it if the other terms are good. So the price might be something like $520K, even though nobody bought it on the market at $470. We actually went the other way on this one because we wanted to offset the down payment. She really was set on the cash, which again, I talked about 10%. She really wanted that cash up front, and I understand it's her equity, it's her money, so we're gonna get her that. We're already talking to some interested buymen, but that makes the down payment $60K on a $433,000 price, which quick math, I believe that's around like 16%, something like that. There's no arrears on the property. If there were, that would come out of the seller's funds at closing. Closing cost is to the buyer. Now, buying and selling this way, you don't have the bank loan involved, so you're gonna save a ton of money on the closing cost. On a traditional transaction, you could expect both the buyer and seller to be anywhere from 1% to 2% average closing cost. On these types of transactions, it's more like one total. So for the buyer, it's probably gonna be $5,000 or $6,000 is what I see usually on this price point for closing costs to account for. Now the assignment fee, and this is from a team member that joined my team recently that I'm teaching to find sellers who were unsuccessful on market working with their agent and convert to more creative type deals. This is his first deal. So we're on assignment on that goes to us is gonna be $10K, where we're giving you the rights to the agreement to come in and close on it. Earnest money deposit's $2,500. The underlying conventional mortgage, this is one of the great parts of the deal and this is what allows you to cash flow so great, is $360K. It's got 28 years remaining on it. It's on a 30-year amortization, and the interest rate is 3.6%. Now, if you got today, interest rates are about 7.6. That's about 4% interest rate. A quick and easy rule of thumb that 1% interest rate difference accounts for 10% payment. So this is a 40% less payment on this property than if you went to get in a bank and a loan. And I guarantee you, if you're going and getting a loan, you are not cash flowing this property unless you're breaking it up every single room and also finishing the back and Airbnb-ing it. But today, with such a low mortgage, you're actually gonna cash flow it right away. Now let's break down that mortgage. The principal on this, now this is a savings account where the money's coming back to you, and it's a difference between renting and owning. You have principal, what I call equity build every single month. On this property, because of the low interest rate, it's $613 a month for going into your savings. You're gaining that equity with every single payment. And the interest on it, we know when you start off a loan, no matter if you're seller finance, low finance, high interest, low interest, the interest rate's always gonna be most at the beginning. You're gonna, slowly but surely gain more principal in your payments, and the interest will go down. Today, this is not that bad on this payment. The interest rate is $1,087 on this. Now, taxes, insurance, this is another thing I like. She had something happened where with the home, and we can get details on this, where her insurance and taxes is $509 a month, which is crazy high for a property that's priced in the 400s. I've had a property I bought this way before, same thing. Their insurance was like $350 a month. I was able to bring in my own insurance after the fact, which I named them a beneficiary on, and it went down from in the 300s to about $159 a month. That saved me $200 a month. So that's more savings here. All in, your payment on this property for the mortgage is $2,211. So that's, for a 4-bedroom, this area or any area in Phoenix, that's already at a very minimum break-in deal. I talked about being able to come in there and lower the insurance, which might take your payment closer to $2,000. Now you're talking about a cash flow deal. Now there is a little bit of equity in this deal, just the way the numbers shook out. Her remaining equity after the down payment is gonna be about $8,000 on a 433K sales price. And we're gonna pay her $100 a month, principal only, payments to the seller for the next 4 years. The remaining balance on that $8,000 after 4 years of $100 a month is gonna be $3,200. We do have to include a transaction coordinator, which will be split. Transaction coordinators on these types of deals are usually like $1,200, so it'll be buyer $600, seller $600. The best rental methods on this, you could easily rent it. Market rents are $2,350 for long term. I think to kill it on the cash flow on this deal, you're gonna wanna set up a co-living situation where you have at least 3 or 4 roommates potentially, and then convert the back with that 50 to 70K spend on there to a fully livable guest suite. And I would Airbnb or midterm that. I would expect your cash flow, you're probably gonna make that about $4,000 at a minimum revenue a month on your payment of $2,211 before you lower the insurance and $100. So $2,311 to make $4,000 a month. And I know you got some other expenses in there, but I would expect to probably bring home on average about $1,000 on this. You're not gonna pay a ton of money to fixing up the property. She already did so much. There's a whole list of upgrades and things she did to the roof, the tile, the kitchen. You could probably see from the pictures as we're scrolling through here, this is an absolutely stunner property. Good area. If you have questions on this deal or looking for deals like this or looking to do what I'm doing, which is turn my traditional real estate business into a creative and traditional, combining the both, my contact info is in the description below. I'm gonna be sending a lot of deals like this. I'm gonna be sending a lot of content out there. I hope to do a deal with you at some point, and I'll see you on the next video.